Wednesday.
You did it.
Wednesday.
You did it.
I forgot the day.
I
did. I forgot the day.
You didn't have to grab your phone.
I had no
what I have
idea
to do.
what day it was, and
Yeah.
I got there. I stuck the landing. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Thursday.
Happy Wednesday.
Mm.
Danny and Dusty with you. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm great. Will Ortner is in the other chair over there. Hi, Will.
What's up?
We're all well fed.
P1 Rufio coming through in the clutch. He brought us some
cheesesteaks
from a place just up the street from us.
Tasty.
Really good. Really good. So thank you to P1 Rufio, keeping us well fed and entertained before the show even started.
A food coma.
Yeah. And he is the cult leader of the YouTube stream.
Indeed.
And it is a cult. Anybody that watches on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, where the sickos all ride. He is our cult leader. He will not make you drink the Kool-Aid, but
I will.
He has it on hand if you're willing to have a sip of it. You would be a terrifying cult leader,
right? Have you seen the Kool-Aid meme that's circulating? It's the Kool-Aid man like breaking through the wall, but then, like it's like breaking into a building, like a church, and everyone's dead on the ground because they drank the Kool-Aid.
I do know because I sent it to you.
Oh, is that you sent it to me?
Yeah. I do know that
Brother,
one because I sent it.
I get sent so many memes.
Sick brag.
No, I can't keep track of who sends them.
I get sent a lot of memes.
I have so many friends.
They're great memes.
My friends keep reaching out to me.
How many people do you have in your life?
The best of memes
that just send you links to or clips or memes.
My mom, but they're dog videos.
I have probably 10, 15 friends who will send me some version of something throughout the week of whatever stupid thing they found. On social media.
Yeah.
And I have the worst time trying to remember like who sent me what.
Yeah. It gets aggressive at times, the amount of memes that just get sent around.
Here's the thing. I only have a couple group chats. It's all like, I should say, I only have a couple big group chats. Everything else is like 3, 4, like small, very, very small groups.
I don't do group chats with a large number of people.
I don't understand how the children do that.
I opt out.
Right?
That.
Like
I
that,
opt out.
I don't do it.
I don't understand how, like, I've seen
they'll have like
people's
20
phones.
people.
Yeah, you see, like, if you have an iPhone, that all of the little circles in the chat, and it's like 30, and you're just like, oh,
There's
God.
no need for that to happen. That is just too much. And then your phone is just like,
yeah.
And then I'm just like, out of this one.
But yeah, I have a friend who I've known since high school. He apologizes probably once a month of like, I'm just gonna send you these. You don't have to acknowledge them, but just know I'm gonna send them to you.
That's fair.
And I appreciate him.
And that's fair. That's like Instagram. I have Instagram. I'm never on Instagram. I've posted one thing to Instagram in my life. Literally, I'm not on. I don't know anything. But anytime I log in,
now.
I have like 400 like messages. I rarely log in, and it's just like of all of my idiot friends just sending me the videos that are all really funny. And it's like I like to open Instagram when I am traveling, like when I'm on long flights, because I have so many funny videos to watch.
The content to go. There you go.
Great.
It's like your own. It's like your own personalized like TikTok.
I don't need an algorithm.
Yeah,
I've got idiot friends.
You get idiot friends who do it for you,
and they have curated my perfect algorithm through the inbox on Instagram.
See?
Yeah. I feel like I've come to this conclusion. I have one post on my Instagram ever, and it is from the spring game. It's the spring game. The Oregon spring game.
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is literally, I have had Instagram, not for very long. I got it when I thought Threads was a thing. Remember when Threads was a thing?
Threads was never a thing.
Yeah, but you had to get an Instagram to get a Threads, and I was the opposite. Everybody already had Instagram, and so it was easy for them to get the Threads. I just had.
Does Instagram tell you when it was created?
No, I don't know.
Twitter does every year on like an anniversary.
No, and it also says like when it like if you just look at any account, it'll tell you how long it's been around for.
Oh,
like my personal Twitter's like February of 2011.
Wow,
sounds about right.
8th grade.
Jesus.
Mine was July of 2009. 6th grade?
2009. I would have been a 5th grader going into 6th grade.
I did not use my Twitter account until about 2011.
Yeah, so I lurked for probably 2-3 years.
Yeah, I had a buddy. I just didn't have the app. I still had a BlackBerry then.
Oh God, you were one of those. Speaking of Colts,
yeah, I had a BlackBerry for a really long time because my roommate played in the CFL from college.
Oh, so
so we do the BBM to stay in touch because that was back when you had international
BBM
text. Yeah, BlackBerry Messenger.
Oh, so like instant messaging?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but just through your phone. It was text messaging.
The thing about BlackBerry was like they were the first ones to really do the direct messaging, but also to do the keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah, like, have full-on keyboard.
Like they were like Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
They revolutionized and then they failed to evolve.
Yeah, yeah. And I had a BlackBerry flip phone too.
Yeah, there you go. And we're circling back. Yep. If I say T9 to you, do you know what that means?
Like the calculator? Like
no.
Texas Instrument?
Mm-mm.
I had a Motorola Razr. That was my first phone, if that makes you feel better.
God, it's like
right around when you got Twitter, that's when I got my Motorola Razr.
All right.
Goodness.
You are young Sparky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, T9 was how you used to text, which was how many, like, the letters on the keys. So when you have 9 numbers.
Where you have to, like, hit it, like, 3 times if you wanted a certain
So
thing.
if I wanted to spell call, I'd have to go 222.
Yeah.
2 666.
Yeah.
Yeah. 666. Yeah. It was that. And that was before distracted driving existed. Yeah. And so people were using T9 to text message people while driving.
But also, I was at the point, at one point in time, didn't need to look at it at all.
Yeah.
All clicks.
There was...
You had the haptic feedback that really worked.
There was a video that was circulating the internets this past week of old news footage when the state of Texas outlawed drinking and driving. And there was like, to hear the way that people talked about it back then, they were like, there's this old guy's like, so you're telling me that I work my 9-to-5 job and I get off at 5 o'clock and I can't crack a beer in the car on the way home? That's just not American. And this lady's like, what are they going to tell us that we can't do next? It's like a lot.
They had open container when I was in Texas. You could have open, just not the driver. So you, as a if you were a passenger in the car, you could have an open container in the vehicle.
And that was in Montana. You had that in the. I wonder when that stopped, but in Montana, passengers could drink.
Yep.
The driver could not have the open container though, and so
if you had 2 open, you better make sure the passenger was double fisting.
I had another roommate who was from Montana, and anytime his dad would come in town for like a game or whatever, we'd have to be like, dude, you can't drink in the car. Like, he's like, why? It's like, because you can't do it here. Yeah. It's against the law. Yeah. He's like, what?
It's like, no way.
It's like, I'm not roadie sody, bro.
Yeah, dude,
road soda.
He was road soda in all over town, and we were like, you cannot do that. He's like, it's fine. It's like, no, because the driver gets in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that illegal in all 50 states?
I think it is
open
now.
Container?
I think it is now.
Because, like, obviously open container, but, like, if you're in Vegas, you can walk around with an open container, which I don't believe you can do that here in Portland. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I had a beer in my hand and I just started walking outside the 1080 studios, I'd get in trouble if a cop saw me.
Yeah.
Or is that like
jaywalking
where they're just gonna ignore it?
Well, in like Louisiana, they have the drive up spots where you can get like a hurricane. Like you can.
Oh yeah, no, there are
drive up hurricane in Louisiana.
There's drive-through liquor stores.
Yeah, but
that's what I learned.
Kansas City. You can get like ready-mades. Drive-through liquor store is not a bad idea.
It's a great
all
idea.
Over North Dakota.
Oh, you can
all over North Dakota.
You can have open container in car if not driving.
Oh no, some of the drive-through at liquor store.
I thought you were
no. Arkansas, open container
in the car.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm looking to see if there's any others.
Sounds about right.
I was gonna say, is Mississippi gonna be cool with it too?
The place that John Daly's from? No way.
Virginia says yes. However, open containers held by passengers can create a rebuttal presumption the driver was drinking.
Oh.
West Virginia,
rebuttal presumptions.
No, but passengers can possess an open container.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
That's super weird. Texas is flat out no now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of states where it's just a fine.
Interesting.
Illinois is a full-on, it's not a fine or jail time, it's license suspension.
Oh, wow.
So if you got an open container in the car, full out, license suspended.
Yep.
Interesting.
All right.
So yeah, there's not even Montana's open container anymore.
Yeah, man, they were pissed when they had to put speed limits on the interstate in Montana.
Yeah, to be fair, nobody follows them.
It was like, it was a speeding ticket was like $25, but because they had to have and
you could pay it on site.
Yeah, you could just here you are, so in Montana,
cash or credit card. Bloop.
Yeah. All right.
They came with the blue stripe, and the blue chip thing that you got to put in. The cops.
You can pay in quarters if you want to. Cash only. It is the open containers like city to city though, because I know that in Ashland you can walk around naked with booze. Yeah.
Well, hell, San Angelo
clothing is optional.
San Angelo, West Texas, where I was stationed at Goodfellow, Dry County.
Oh.
Dry County with a college and a Air Force base.
Well, that was Monmouth, Oregon, where Western Oregon University is.
That's why I didn't go there.
Because it was a dry town. It was a dry town before you were going to be of college age.
Yeah.
It was right around the time you got a cell phone that they lifted that law.
Yeah.
It was that long ago?
Yeah.
So
wow, I thought that was like 90s they got rid of that.
So San Angelo city limits was a dry county. They did have booze, no liquor. But there was a liquor store, and I kid you not, set up on the other side of the street at the end of the county.
That's perfect.
So
that's perfect. That's the way to do it.
I was like, what? Does this really keep people from going and getting liquor? No, it just makes them drive further. And they did because that liquor store was packed all day.
Oh, we got Montana as a $40 ticket on the spot.
There you
go. Ooh. Inflation. Yeah,
it's
inflation. Yeah, dude, it literally used to be like $20, $25 bucks.
20,
you could just be like,
yeah.
It was like a couple hundred last time I got pulled over.
In Montana?
No.
Yeah, no, this is Montana.
No.
Yeah, Montana.
Thanks a lot, I-90.
Yeah, no. Montana, more often than not, they're not even going to pull you over.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to catch me on a moose.
That's Canada.
No, they're on horses.
Yeah.
Simple mistake.
Grizzly bears.
Yeah.
The grizzly bears. You'll.
That's in the Yukon.
No, grizzly bears, Montana, man. We had. That was in my brief time that I was in Dillon, Montana. We had a practice delayed over an hour because
of grizzly bears.
Grizzly bears on our practice field, and they would not leave. Like we had coaches out there like bullhorns trying to get them off. Nope.
Things they don't care about.
They did not give two S's about that. They were just like, yep, we're just going to hunker down here. There was like fires up in the hills or whatever, and they were
pushing
like,
them down. I'm not going back up there.
Nope, not leaving. And so those are Montana problems right there. Those are Montana problems.
The biggest road hazard in Montana, I don't think it's drunk driving, it's the deer.
Yeah, I would imagine
deer are like if you've ever driven through Montana, you've seen semi trucks that all have the grill guards because they just plow through them. They just plow through deer. Like they are. The last time I drove home from North Dakota back here, I drove at night and it was white knuckle terrifying because I had to dodge deer probably a dozen times over the span of 5 hours.
Now I'm just imagining like a Prius or a Tesla with a grill guard on it. Put one of those on Elon's Cybertruck.
Well, the thing is, those deer that are through there, they're the little blacktails, so they're only like 40 pounds, so they don't really do too much damage.
So then why stop?
No, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like if you were to hit one in a Cybertruck with the way those things are designed,
well,
it would just use it like a ramp, and it would just be like take off right off the backside.
When they put speed bumps on the interstate?
I mean, that's what the semis do, man. They just plow through them. It's nuts. But if you drive through Montana, especially during like the summertime, you will just see deer carcasses every 100 yards. And I don't even think I'm exaggerating. It's just they are everywhere.
All right.
It's nuts.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, the first time I ever drove through there was just like, why is there so much carnage on the freeway?
No, because they're still pissed they had the speed limits put in place.
Everybody's out there playing video games trying to hit deer.
I will say this cautionary tale for everybody. Like, also, my experience is driving in the state of Montana. If they say to take a curve at like 25 miles an hour, they're not like, this is the recommendation. They're like, no, you really need to be going 25 or 45
because it's a 90-degree turn.
If you're going 50 around a 45, you ain't going to make it.
Yeah.
Like, they mean, when it says 45, they mean like, no, this turn, we're not messing around with this turn.
There's a cliff on the other side.
Yeah, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. 45 is like the maximum that you want to take this turn at. So that's driving in Montana.
Never a problem you have in North Dakota because there's no curves.
Well, hey, look at that.
Come full circle. If you stand on a beer can in North Dakota, you can see Montana.
Bingo. All right. Now we have, man, it was $5 in Montana in the 80s. Inflation indeed. $5 speeding ticket.
That's a foot long.
Back then, that's $2.
2004 is when it changed, Will.
At Western?
In Western Oregon and Monmouth. Yeah.
You don't want to know what grade I was in then.
Second?
I think kindergarten.
Okay.
Oh, you were a kindergartner.
You born in 2000? I
was born in 97, so I would be, you're 6 when you start kindergarten?
Nope, 5.
So first,
you were...
Well, no, you turn 6 in kindergarten.
Yeah, okay.
You do.
Sure.
Yes, don't do that.
Yep, you can.
I'm an educator.
I didn't.
You are.
Mm-hmm. I'm an educator.
All right. So that was right around the time you stopped growing mentally, not physically.
You turned 7 in kindergarten.
We need to talk at some point.
No.
Big Will Betts did the 9-9 challenge. The 9-9-9 challenge. We're going to have to talk about that at some point today.
It was yummy.
9 dogs, 9 beers, 9 innings up at the Mariner game.
I could do it.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. I could not.
Eat too slow.
Oh, I eat way too slow.
Yeah, you were the slowest eating man I've ever seen.
You still have half your sandwich.
I do. Well, and this is the problem. Sukanik's going to eat it. I know he is.
Oh,
He's
God.
He's going to eat it.
Yeah, you know what?
He's going to eat it.
You can bring it in here and stink it up for him.
Yeah. All right. Let's get this show on the road. We've got a lot of NFL news today. We've got the schedule release going on today. And there's big news. The NBA is shaking in their boots over today's announcement. We had some incredible performances last night in the NBA playoffs. But where we got to start this bad boy off is the conversation we started yesterday's show with, because the poll has closed and the results, they're a little bit surprising. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. The results are in over 1,500 voters. It's a good sample size.
Yeah.
43.6% of respondents say a new owner is the top priority for the Portland Trailblazers. 40% say a superstar player. New coach gets 9.5% of the vote, 6.9% going to a new front office. I was surprised by that. Not just the fact that we hear it all the time. People in Portland want new ownership of the Portland Trailblazers. Not a secret whatsoever. But we also hear a lot of the Chauncey Billups is terrible. Fire Chauncey Billups. 9.5% coming in on Chauncey. 6.9% on the front office, which I think is fair because of the moves that they've made and kind of what they've done. I think there is a semblance of level-headedness in that response. 40% coming in for a superstar player is where I thought that we might land, but I thought it would be the winner. I honestly did. I thought we were going to have like 40% for a superstar player, probably like 30% on a new coach, about like the 7% for new front office, and the rest going towards a new coach, right? New owner, I thought was going to be up there. I did not anticipate 43.6% of folks that responded to the poll of the 1,571 that responded going with new ownership.
I had my rant yesterday, so I'm not going to completely lose it today.
Yeah.
But
don't.
This is baffling, head-scratching, beyond stupidity.
Well, I don't think, yeah.
It's so far above the pale, man. We had Kevin Pelton on ESPN yesterday, and we asked him this question, and he laughed because it's a joke.
Yeah, because superstar player is what bails. Look, go down the line. And you can go from whether you James Dolan in New York, Glenn Taylor in Minnesota. These ownership groups have not been. Matt Ishbia has botched it in Phoenix as well, but they have superstar players. You make the playoffs. I mean, it is that simple.
It's
players win in the league.
In the NBA. It literally is that simple.
And I think that when you look at a franchise. I think that franchise building is the superstar player, the centerpiece player, a functional and very good front office. Then you go to a X's and O's nails coach, and then you go to ownership. Because Mickey Arison in Miami is not a good owner.
No, he's cheap.
But they always find a way to have a superstar player, and I think a lot of that credit goes to Pat Riley in the front office because they've had several different iterations.
They were also doing it before Pat because
but
Miami.
They've had several different iterations of this team where they've been really good. And then they also have one of the best X's and O's coaches in the entire NBA in Eric Spoelstra. So they overachieve in years where they are down, like this year, like last year. In ownership, I think where that goes to, and I think where we get the 43.6% of the vote, is you have a fan base that has been so accustomed to winning. Again, the Portland Trailblazers for the longest time were one of the winningest franchises in professional sports over its history of existence. They're still at 52.5% of regular season games the Blazers have won.
I want to say if you go back to like pre-04, before they had the losing years, the Jailblazer years. I want to say it was like 02 or 03. I remember they had the winningest franchises in sports. And this was like peak time for my fandom of sports because the Raiders had the #1 winning percentage among all professional sports in North America. The Blazers, I want to say, were like 5th, and the Cardinals were somewhere in the top 15. And all three have gone completely different ways. But the Blazers were, at one point in time, one of the highest winning percentage teams in all of sports.
Here is, with this year, accounting for this year as well, the highest win percentages in NBA history. San Antonio Spurs, #1, 59.6%. Boston Celtics, 59.4%. Lakers, 59.1%. Jazz 54, right on the dot. Phoenix Suns are 5th at 53.7. Oklahoma City Thunder 53.6. Milwaukee Bucks 52.8. Miami Heat 52.7. And the Portland Trailblazers 9th NBA history all-time win percentage 52.5%. And then the Philadelphia 76ers round out the top 10 at 52.2.
And I think if you think about the NBA, those are typically the best teams every year.
Yeah.
Think about look at the rest of the list and then go, okay, they had a period, but those are teams that are consistent winners and have been.
I also think, though, that to the ownership aspect of this, the Blazers used to be higher.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the worst 3-year run, about to be 4-year run in the franchise's history outside of their first few years in the NBA. The fear is that with ownership changing hands to Jody Allen and Burt Kolde has coincided with pulling the ripcord and restarting this thing. So you point to ownership and being that this is the first time that this has happened and been sustained over, a 3-year period, really like ever, right? The worry is that the teams that are losers are historic losers. The bottom 5 are the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Brooklyn Nets, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Charlotte Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think, is where a lot of the anxiousness of Blazer fans is at is, okay, well, this owner is a different owner than what we had before, even though not much has really changed because Vulcan has been running the show no matter what. And it's just Paul Allen.
And they were the ownership. The current ownership was the ownership of the team that went to the Western Conference Finals.
And Paul Allen was always portrayed as an owner who viewed the Blazers as his baby, as his child.
Yep.
And they won a lot. Even through the Jailblazer years where there was a downturn. That was only 2 seasons, right? But Paul Allen cared about the Blazers so much that all of a sudden it turned around, and he was firing GMs left and right. Paul Allen dies, and Neil O'Shea gets a longer leash, and there's a lot that went into the leash and the power that Neil O'Shea was given because of everything that was heaped on the plate of Jody Allen, his estate, and untangling that. And Jody Allen doesn't view the Blazers as her baby.
No.
But I think, and she's not a person that we hear from, really, ever. Paul Allen was always viewed as a guy who was quiet, but a big presence in NBA owner meetings because he was a very, very wealthy man, and everybody kind of bows down to the richest owners in any particular sport. And so there's this view that the Blazers have less power in the NBA as an organization because Paul Allen isn't there, even though he often sent other people in his place to owners' meetings.
Yes.
But then
Chris McGowan was often their representative as the governor, which Dwayne Hankins often is for the Trailblazers now.
Now you have this view of Jody Allen doesn't care about the team, even though she doesn't speak a lot.
Ever.
There have been the reports that, hey, and I don't know what to believe because we don't hear her speak.
No.
And I think that this is fair for Blazer fans to kind of to view this as there have been reports that she has taken a more prominent role in having a voice of how the organization is run, and she does care because it was something her brother cared about so deeply. But we don't know that because she's never said it.
Here's the thing. I've been told that so the entire practice facility is wired up with cameras. That was for Paul Allen so that he could watch practice anywhere in the world. I'm not kidding. He could watch practice from his submarine.
Talk about practice?
He could watch draft workouts wherever he was in the world. And I've been told that they send a link to Jody so if she's not in town when they have draft workouts like they have going on right now, that she'll watch draft workouts from wherever she's at. This whole idea that she's like the owner from Major League, stripping this down to sell it. I don't like sitting here and championing Jody Allen. That's not what I'm doing. It's just that folks have no idea what is actually going on. Like the text line right now, this idea of the absentee owner or the trust as opposed to an actual owner. No, she is an actual owner because there's money being put into the franchise, not just into the roster, but into the practice facility, into the scouting departments, into Moda. Like that is not just managing a trust.
Well, I think that there's another element of that I think the texture goes into a little bit more detail that we should address, because here's the thing: people aren't talking about this because of how bad things have been, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's an element to the trust ownership and the fact that there will be a for sale at some point. Let's get to that after Big Will Bets with SportsCenter.
This is a PGA Championship Week.
Ford during and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. All right, we were talking about the Portland Trailblazers, the results of our poll question. The poll question, where new owner, superstar player, new coach, or new front office, which is the most important to turn the franchise around? Oh, by the way, Adley Rutschman. Is that a walk-off? It was a walk-off.
He's good at those.
Adley Rutschman walk-off home run. 3-2. Orioles beat the Blue Jays.
Slam-a-lama-ding-dong.
He's got to hit that the homer hose now.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. But we had a text because new owner, it really knocked it out of the park here. This text says, I think some of it is the Blazers don't have an owner. They're owned by a trust. Jody is in charge of the trust. She hasn't bought any NBA team. She's a temp. Fans are tired of a temp owner. Now, there is the...
I want to stop you right there.
Go ahead.
What are they tired of?
Just the uncertainty. Because,
what uncertainty is there?
This uncertainty that in Paul Allen's will, the sale of the Seahawks and the Portland Trailblazers is part of his will.
Sure.
They must be sold. And I think that, at first it was 5 years. That would be this year since Paul Allen died. That was the first report. And we still don't know, right? Because Jody came out, well, I guess the family trust came out with the statement that said this could take 10 to 15 years to untangle all of the assets in the will and then put the team up for sale, right? So with it, now we're sitting there and we're looking at, all right, so now between 5 and 10 years from now, we could be looking at a situation where the team is sold, and it will eventually be sold, because unless Jody buys it back for market value, the team will be sold. And so that's where I think the temporary owner is coming from.
What does that matter?
Well, that the team will be sold. It will be forced to be sold.
Okay.
And so hold on. What they want is just get it out of the way now and get the person in charge who can oversee and will be in charge of the organization post this rebuild. I think that is where some fans come from.
Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's a figurehead because they're not doing anything right now that isn't going to be done by new ownership.
Well, but exactly. And
that's my point.
Hold on. I think that's where this conversation, and we talk about, how intimate your knowledge is of the Portland Trailblazers, because you cover them literally every single day, right? Like literally every single day.
Yes.
So you see what a lot of the fans don't see. And I think over the last couple of days, we've talked a lot about, look, the Blazers started the Rip City remix, and that was a losing venture for them. They did not make money this year. They dumped a lot of money into that. They've dumped a lot of money into the practice facility and the facilities of the Portland Trailblazers, which when Paul Allen built that facility, it was state-of-the-art.
Yes, but it's been a little while since then.
It had fallen behind what other organizations had. So they've updated it since he has died. They've updated a lot. Like whether it was, I think the weight room was right around the time he was sick when they redid the weight room.
I want to say like 2016.
And then the theater, the theater room that they attached to it. Then it was their training room and training facilities with the whirlpools and all that stuff. And then the kitchen is the latest one, right?
They got that, and then the upstairs annex.
They have pumped a lot of money into the facilities. They are pumping more money into Moda Center as a whole for improvements on that. Now, all of Moda Center will be something that they do make money off of, right?
Yes.
And that makes sense. But I think the perception is that Jody Allen doesn't care. The Vulcans who are running the team, they don't care. And they're not putting money into the franchise. And that is incorrect, right? Because where their payroll was smack dab right in the middle, right? This past year of the NBA.
I want to say they finished 10th.
Okay. Was
in 2022 they were 8th.
So they were not a bottom of the barrel, they want to say cut everything off.
No, they were like $400,000 away from the tax.
That is what a lot of ownership groups do that are in a rebuild, but you can benefit off of spending money on your roster when you're not winning.
Yes.
So you have contracts to trade. That's right. So that's an element of this where you can say that she doesn't care, she's not investing in the team and all that. They have the 10th highest payroll in the NBA, knowing that they're going to be losing basketball games because it benefits the team in the long run. That is one thing that I think an absent owner or somebody who only cares about making money off of the team, they just would cut to the bottom and they'd be in like 25th through 30th in payroll, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, those are things where you can counter the Jody Allen doesn't care, but what you can't counter is eventually this team will be for sale, and I think that's where a lot of fans are frustrated with the organization.
There's this whole thing about Phil Knight. Phil Knight isn't fixing anything. I don't care how much money he has. Number one, it doesn't matter. He's not luring. He's not luring free agents to Portland. The allure of Nike and being close to Nike might work in college football. It does not work in the NBA. They do not care. I'm telling you flat out. 25-year-old black millionaires do not want to live in Portland. Phil Knight is not changing that. There's no NIL deal. There's no shield deal that's changing that. And on top of that, Phil's going to die in 5 years, and we're back in this loop again.
But I understand that. I understand that. But that Phil Knight is the one person who has been front and center on buying the organization and wanting to do it. And I think that his partner, who's a minority owner of the Dodgers too, who's got deep pockets, cares about sports, all that stuff. I think that may be it right there. Fans want a owner who cares about the team and cares about sports.
Sure.
Because when you have that, you know that whatever the owner does, and look, Paul Allen made a ton of mistakes. Hassan Jin, anybody, right? Like, he made a ton of mistakes as the owner of this team. But you know what? You could never say about him is that you could never say he doesn't care. Because we all knew that Paul Allen cared deeply about the organization. I think that is where fans are coming from. I still think that a superstar player is numero uno to changing the fortunes of your franchise.
This text
it is number one.
Here's two texts right here that illustrate. I'm going to be blunt. You don't know what you're talking about. Phil Knight would have gone all in and cared a damn. It has nothing to do with free agents. What have they not gone all in on? No. I'm gonna set this absolutely straight. Yeah. There's nothing Phil Knight could, would, should, can do to make free agents come to Portland, to force trades to happen. There is not an owner on this planet that changes that.
Danny Kennison is back. You did a really good job for about a half hour.
Look, I know that you're just not you. The collective you are stuck on this idea that Jody is this boogeyman that you want to blame because heaven forbid the city that you live in isn't attractive to free agents and it's all somebody's fault.
Well, it's never has been a free agent destination.
And on top of this, there's another one. Meringue seems to think all owners are equal and don't matter. Look at Phoenix. You're making my point for me. But they had a crappy owner in Robert Sarver and they made the NBA Finals.
That's right.
Then they switched and they went all in, quote unquote, by giving up every asset they had from an NBA Finals team not named Devin Booker, and now they're screwed for almost a decade.
Yeah. But it's again, I think where that text started was it's the illusion of caring, right? It's the illusion of caring that Phil Knight, we know he cares about the city, he cares about the state, he cares about sports. And I think the fact that when Jody took over, it was she doesn't really care about sports. She doesn't know much about sports. She was handed 2 professional sports franchises. I think that has framed so much of the perception of ownership in Portland right now. And I understand where you're coming from because you are right in that they are spending a lot of money. That is not the issue.
What is the thing that tangibly?
Yeah.
What is the thing that ownership is not doing?
Yeah. Well, drafting a superstar.
And then when it gets to that, because I've seen that come up in the text.
Yeah.
They need to change the front office because they need to get a superstar. what move in the last 5 years has been available to be made where they could get a superstar?
I think I think that this fan base and those people that really are upset about it, if the Blazers draft a guard, which if Topic is there at 7, that'll drive them batty even more.
No. And I understand it.
Yeah.
But this is what I was saying yesterday. It is a zero-sum game right now. Once you go the tanking path, you are in it until you get the star because there's no way out of it. You have ripped the mediocrity Band-Aid off. You have allowed yourself to fall below that line. And in order to get out of there, you need the stars. To get the stars, you got to be in the lotto. It's just that simple. The math does not go any other way. You can point to Giannis or Jokic or whatever exception to the rule you want to find. But if you're building on exceptions, you are going to fail miserably.
All right. You did really well for a half hour. They're not yelling at us.
Look, it's just look. I get people are frustrated. I get it's not fun to tank. It's not.
It's not.
And this is what we said going into this season so many times. Is it's going to be a long process. It's going to suck. It's going to be miserable. It's not a fun thing to do. But you're not looking to blame things right now. You're not looking to make star trades right now. You're not looking to, quote unquote, improve the roster. If you want to say the organization's lying to you, find me the organization in sports that has told you they're going to suck going into the year, even if everyone and their mother knew they were going to. That's on you. That's on you if you're believing that.
Okay.
It's that simple.
I think you need to smile. And coming up next, I'm going to make you smile. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to
Prime Time with
Buffalo Bills rookie wide receiver Keon Coleman has been a, quote, machine since he was drafted.
My God.
We have seen the clips of him talking about his winter coats, and he's a thrifty shopper at Macy's.
And he's been wearing those winter coats in a lot of videos I've seen him in lately.
That's right. Even though it's
probably like
mild climate,
degrees.
like he's like, I
gotta get my use out of this.
Winter is going to be real tough on old Keon Coleman. There was a video of Keon Coleman at the Combine meeting with the Buffalo Bills, and they asked him, "What do you do outside of football?" He said, "I golf a little bit." He goes, "I ain't Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger Wishy Coulds." You know?
Which was so good.
And I love that. He goes, "I'm good until I get to the green."
Yeah.
Big part of golf.
I can do a little something.
He is funny, and he's engaging, and he went on the Adam Schefter podcast, and he's going to lower Danny's blood pressure for everybody.
Top 3 go to snacks, and there's an opportunity here, Keon. Keep that in mind.
Sour punch straws, sweet tart ropes, and Skittles, of course.
Hey, give me the scout. Yeah, but give me the report on each of those 3. Give me a little bit of background on why you like them so much. Each one.
The purple Skittles, of course, the purple Skittles. And then the sweet tart ropes. You ain't never had them?
No.
So they got the cherry punch. They got another pink one. They got the twisted ones, and then they got one that come in a blue pack. It might be strawberry. I don't remember. It's a blue, and they got green apples. So they got the blue pack, they got a red pack, a pink pack, and a green pack, all on fire. And then you got the sour punch straws. I've been eating them joints since I was about 6, 7 years old. You got the blue ones, the green ones, the purple ones, the red ones, and you get the watermelon. That's only 5. Hold on, you gotta give me 5. I can't just give you 3.
I'll give you whatever you want.
Laffy Taffy 9 liters. It's a good bit. And Airhead Extreme, the green pack. Yeah, that's my 6 right there.
My 6 after my 3.
He's not wrong. He is dead on. If you have not had the sour punch bits that they have, they are phenomenal.
It's one of my wife's favorites.
These sweet tart ropes, goated.
The sweet tart licorice ropes. Have you had those?
Well, that's what they are.
Yeah. Okay.
Where they have the little filling,
yeah,
the white filling, and they look like licorice ropes. Yeah, that's the sweet tart ropes.
Okay. Yeah, those are good.
And then Skittles are just like the mainstay. And look, the thing that I am most excited about with him putting Skittles in there and being so high on Skittles, we could get a Marshawn Lynch, Keon Coleman crossover commercial via Skittles that is going to be electric.
Just don't script it. Just let them go.
Just say, "Cook, fellas."
Yeah.
Just go. Just be you.
Put them in the golf cart together.
Talk about Skittles.
And let Marshawn drive around the field with Keon in the cart. White and Kennedy, you're welcome.
For all of it. That is a great list right there. The one thing he may be missing out on, have you ever had Nerd Clusters?
Yep.
Nerd
I actually had those
delicious.
for the first time a couple months ago.
Yeah, Nerd Clusters are delicious.
My wife has the sweet tooth, so there's always some version of the sweet tart ropes / Nerd Clusters, or like one of those will always be in the pantry.
I always tell people I'm not a candy guy. Not a candy guy. I am a big candy guy. I am a huge candy guy.
I'm not. I will try them.
And
then I go, oh my God, it's too sweet. But that's good.
I'm a massive candy fanatic, and the high school that I coach at, Old Banks, I started a tradition when I started coaching there where each coach brings candy pregame into the coach's room. And it is open. It's broadened my horizons.
To try things?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have the sweet tart ropes are a staple. The sour punch bits, those are always in there.
You're one candy on an island. Do we need to go to a break and think about this?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we do. And we'll get back to that. We'll also, hour number 2, we got our worst day on the web. And the NFL is saying, NBA, you better watch yourself. Next on The Fan.
Victoricos features fresh
This is one that's just because it was my favorite growing up, and it's an ever evolving list. But I think the one that I always go back to. I've always been a big hot tamales guy, but I like to live in the hot tamales Mike and Ike's realm. But hot tamales will forever be my number one, just because it's had the longest staying power. If I'm going for right now, what my favorite candy is though, I'll have to go with. It's a toss up. But I'm gonna go the Sour Punch Bits. I'm with Keon Coleman. It's either that or Nerd Clusters. Nerd Clusters
you
like
a little sour?
Yeah, a little sweet, a little sour, okay. Spicy with the hot tamales. Like, yeah.
I'm gonna go Australian licorice.
Okay, yeah, that's good. The Wallabies, Wallabies, Australian licorice,
the red licorice.
Yeah.
And listen, every now and then I'll dabble with some of the other flavors, not the black licorice flavor. That's not good. But they have like a apple, like a Marionberry.
Ooh, yeah.
There's some interesting little. There was a mango one.
Yeah,
they
do a good job.
Incredible, but that thick licorice like that, man. Oof.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
It's tasty.
It's really good. All right.
Neither of us chocolate guys though.
M&M's, dude.
There's the weirdo.
Like Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, those are incredible.
M&M's is not weird.
Have you ever had the Reese's sticks?
No.
I've had the poles.
What? I will never have one of those either. I'm not going to mess with that.
What?
The Reese's sticks.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
Oh,
I think the cup.
It's like a Kit Kat on steroids.
But I don't want. I don't like the wafer.
Oh, so
the wafer with
like
the
that.
peanut butter.
So I do.
I wouldn't. No,
I'm not a big peanut butter guy, but the wafer in there, it does it for me.
I think that the traditional Reese's peanut butter cup is the perfect ratio of chocolate to peanut butter. It is. They nailed it. Knocked it out of the park. All right. Let's get to the NFL. NFL dropped a little bombshell on us a couple of weeks ago when it was leaked that they will have Christmas Day games. And now we know where those Christmas Day games will reside. And little birdie, we know which teams are going to be playing on Christmas Day. There will be an NFL doubleheader on Christmas Day on Netflix.
And there it is, getting into sports.
They will mail you a DVD with the game on it live.
You can sync it up. Press play now.
Streaming on Netflix, you will have a doubleheader of NFL football, and the NFL knows exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And what they are doing is saying, NBA, you think you own Christmas Day? That was very cute. Because what they are putting on Netflix
don't like this.
Is they are putting the Kansas City Chiefs at the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Christmas Day.
So they're taking the Super Bowl champion and one of the biggest market draws in the entire country and league.
And they're doing exactly what they did with the Peacock playoff game. They are banking on the Swifties all flocking to Netflix and watching that game. They just better hope Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift survive. Okay. He was at her Eras Tour concert in Europe.
Though. And even though it's Christmas Day, they'll put Taylor Swift on that field.
Yep. At linebacker?
No.
Oh.
Seems more like a safety.
Wiry.
Yeah.
Wiry. Well, if people get their way, maybe she can be their kicker because people are calling for Harrison Butker's head after his graduation speech, which that was a hell of a thing. Yeah. Oh my God.
Took a turn I didn't see coming.
Why did he think people were going to be on his side on that one?
Well, because he was at Benedictine College, and he was like, "Yeah, I can probably say what I want. Nobody's going to see what." I mean, he went politics, he went misogyny, and homophobia.
It's like the Holy Trinity.
I mean, he covered all of those bases.
He kicked it up and through.
Goodness gracious. But the second game of the Netflix doubleheader, where Taylor Swift may or may not be kicking for the Chiefs in the front half, the second half, I think this game's going to be more eyeballs on it. Ravens at Texans.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson.
CJ Stroud.
Derrick Henry. CJ Stroud. That's a hell of a football game you're putting on Christmas Day. And
I don't like it.
I
don't like this.
Here's where the NFL really dug in, and they said, I think that this is quite literally a purpose pitch at the NBA. You can have those Christmas Day games if they're on NBC or if they are on ABC or Fox, any of their partners, ESPN. That would be one thing. They are banking on people going to Netflix and not leaving Netflix.
Yeah.
And that is the hardest part with live streaming events, is that people don't bounce back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't just grab the remote, hit the last button, and you jump from the game that's on Netflix or Peacock to, the NBA game that's on ABC.
And that's why with Amazon, they have the built-in other events. Always. There's always something else going on that you can flip through. And that's why you have the integrations with ESPN, Disney, Hulu, is that you can live in one ecosystem. Or we could just go back to cable.
Yeah, which I saw that somebody is Comcast put together a streaming package with it's like they bundled Netflix, Paramount Plus.
Isn't it
something,
Max, like one of
Max.
Discovery? Yeah.
Yeah. They've lumped those together. It's like, oh, so we have one with Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have one with Netflix, Max, and Paramount Plus. Oh, I see what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're making cable again. They're making cable again.
And that's why everybody's going to live streaming, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure they are.
Yep.
It's changing delivery methods. It's the same thing.
Would you like to guess how much you would have to pay if you wanted to watch every NFL game this year? Okay. This is just on the baseline. Like if you went, you have to go 6 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Throughout to make it through the football season.
Sure.
And this is like without a traditional cable carrier either. If you went YouTube TV, that's $72.99 a month.
Uh-huh.
ESPN Plus, $10.99 a month. Peacock, $5.99 a month. Prime, $8.99 a month. Netflix, $6.99 a month. You're looking at $1,000 for the NFL season because you also have to buy the Sunday ticket if you want to watch every game, which is $349. That is $986 to watch every NFL game this year.
They've got you by the balls.
980 because this is the beauty of what they're doing. They went YouTube TV because if you're going to get Sunday ticket, you got to have the YouTube TV. Okay. ESPN Plus because that's where you're going to get your Monday Night Footballs, right? Peacock because playoff games are on Peacock. Prime because Thursday Night Football's on Prime. And then Netflix now for the Christmas games. You're looking at $986.
And it's a cartel.
Yeah. That is
it is
wild.
It is. It's a cartel.
That is
there's
ridiculous amount of money.
There's no reason it should be this expensive, nor is there any reason why it should be spread across this many networks.
No. Well, the reason why is because they make more money off of it.
Oh, I know.
And that's as player salaries go up, popularity of the game's going up.
They aren't falling short of their projections any year.
No, that Roger Goodell said he wanted to be at $20 billion in revenue annually by 2025.
Which they're rapidly approaching.
They're going to get there.
Yeah.
They are capitalizing on the addiction that the American public has for the National Football League. And look, there's a lot of people that are now going out there and they're dancing around saying, oh, the Pac-12, they couldn't handle that Apple TV Plus streaming. NFL in the Pac-12 or any other individual conference.
Nowhere close.
It was not a tenable agreement. That's why people left, right? It was something that was a non-starter because people weren't getting rid of DirecTV to get the Pac-12 network and go to Comcast. They weren't doing it.
They weren't moving to those numbers or to those services.
Nobody was doing it.
No.
Nobody was going to go out of their way just for Apple TV, especially in the world of college football where flipping around from game to game is exactly what people want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that via Apple TV. This is not the day that you sit there and you say, wow, the Pac-12 could have survived. See, everything's going streaming. No, the NFL is an animal of its own. It's a beast that nobody else
It's the biggest
has.
beast in the country. It's the biggest beast in the world outside of soccer.
That's right. That's right. And so, according to reports that are out there, the full schedule release will go down in the NFL today. You're going to have Chiefs, Steelers, and Ravens, Texans on the old Netflix come Christmas Day. 503-864-6326. That is the Vancouver Ford text line. Let's talk about that Jokic guy. Good Lord.
Might have to do that.
He was insane last night, yet again. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Off home run for the Orioles. This comes via Melanie Newman, who works for Masson. Adley homered on Mother's Day in front of his mom, Carol. He's hit 4 in 3 days. Today, in front of his dad, Randy, for Randy's birthday. Adley Rutschman, everybody. Knows how to put on a show for people. Mother's Day dinger, gives his dad a birthday present, walk-off home run. Pretty dang good, that Adley Rutschman. Let's talk about our boy Jokic, because last night, my goodness, he put on an absolute show in the most Jokic way possible, where the biggest highlights... Hey, can we talk about how he's dunking lately? He has 8 dunks in the playoffs. He had 17 during the entire regular season. The entire regular season, 17 dunks. He had 2 last night. Dunking the basketball.
Shows you how just jacked up he is right now, man.
But Nikola Jokic, probably the most Jokic way possible, when he put Rudy Gobert in the blender and he did all of those spin moves and Rudy was just like standing with his arms going, I'm not sure what to do here. And then he slid over like a half a step, and that was exactly what Jokic wanted him to do and went up and under. That was an incredible play. But he went off last night for 40 points, 7 rebounds, 13 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, and what I think is the most impressive stat of the night for him, 0 turnovers.
Second player in NBA playoff history to go 40 and 10. 40 points, 10 assists with 0 turnovers, joining Chris Paul.
Yeah, those guys play the same position.
They do, kind of. That's the terrifying thing about Jokic. I used to wonder whether or not he was the best passing big man of all time. It's no longer a question. He is.
The behind the head pass last night.
He's the best passing big man of all time, even surpassing Sabonis.
Ridiculous.
Arturas Karsanovas, who's the GM for the Bulls, who used to be with the Nuggets. I've got a couple friends that cover the Nuggets, and they would ask him about Sabonis and comparing Jokic because Karsanovas played with him. And he goes, Jokic is better, which is an insane thing to think about because the gold standard for passing for big men is Arvydas Sabonis. And he is surpassing that by leaps and bounds because the sheer volume, everything runs through him. But it's not hezzy, tween. It's just stand at the elbow and be dangerous. And then when the defense makes a move, you react or anticipate. There's no way to double Jokic successfully.
And that's the thing, is that people are giving Rudy Gobert a ton of flack. He's a defensive player of the year, multiple-time defensive player of the year. And it doesn't benefit your team to double-team Nikola Jokic. So you have to play him one-on-one.
Yes.
But where Rudy Gobert is most comfortable is at the rim, where Nikola Jokic is the most comfortable operating the offense is at the free throw line. Yeah. And so you're pulling him out of his comfort zone.
But you're also pulling him, that space that gets created by that allows Aaron Gordon to just run that dunker spot, and he's the best in the world at it right now. And his relationship with Jokic is lethal. You give that man an inch. If you take a step up, and Cat was bad. The 3 offensive fouls in the span of a minute.
Bad Cat.
I mean, he fell apart last night, which got him off the floor defensively. And even if he's not being a plus defender, he's still 7 foot 260.
So yesterday we were talking about how outside of the restricted zone or restricted area is where, who were we talking about?
OKC. They absolutely murdered the mid-range.
And SGA didn't take like any shots outside of the restricted zone.
No.
Last night, Aaron Gordon went 7 of 14 from the field. He only took 4 shots of his 14 outside of the restricted zone. He was
lived at the rim.
He was he took 10 shots outside of inside the restricted zone. He only had 1 make outside. He was 1 for 3 or 1 for 4 outside. That was
a little mid-range pull-up.
And then everything else was at the rim.
Because if you show a double, and the thing about this, if you think about the geometry of the court, if you're standing at the free throw line extended, either elbow, Nikola Jokic is 7 foot tall, and he's a supercomputer on the floor. He knows that if he runs a little DHO action or a handoff action with Jamal Murray coming from left to right, kind of behind him, like if Nikola Jokic is facing the basket and Jokic kind of does a open his left hip kind of a deal to Murray, and Murray's moving from left to right kind of behind him. He knows that the defense is now going to shift in load. And what ends up happening is when you do that, think if you're an NFL fan, if you're a football fan, a quarterback's eyes. You're leading the safety over to open up not the space where the safety is, but where he's going to be. And when you do that, if the defense shifts over, and now you're loaded on that, now you only have one guy in Aaron Gordon, and you're going to have 10 sets of eyes on Jokic and Murray. And if that backline defender, the guy on the weak side, takes one step up, you have got 6'9", 250-pound Aaron Gordon, who has a 45-inch vertical leap, running uncontested. He's one of the most physical players in the NBA. And you have the best passing big man of all time throwing an absolute dot to one of the best rim finishers in the entire league.
And that allows you so much, because I think Minnesota has done a really good job of taking away the open looks for Michael Porter Jr., who in the first round,
they've taken away his airspace.
And but what you need to do with Michael Porter Jr. in his size, in his length, but his ability to shoot, you pull another big body out of the lane, and that opens everything up. So now we're seeing the counter that Denver has made is Aaron Gordon, who said during the first round series against the Lakers, he said, I can't just run the lane and get to the rim. I can't do it. Now, the last two games, that's what Aaron Gordon has been feasting on, because one, Jokic pulling Gobert out, the other one, Porter Jr., and having to respect him to shoot a three.
And a lot of that last night had to do with they want to put Cat on Jokic because Cat's a little heavier than Rudy, but also because they want to keep Rudy on the back line, because that's where he does his best work as a rim deterrent and as a shot blocker. The other part about this is Boyd also quit crapping on Rudy Gobert. No, the first two games of the series, when he guarded Jokic, Jokic was 11 of 28. Where was everybody then? Where was everybody celebrating Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert as opposed to dancing on his grave right now?
Well, I think we were celebrating.
But I'm saying in general, I was like, he's not Defensive Player of the Year. Don't listen to Draymond Green. Draymond Green hates the man. It was funny that the text that I got last night from around the league was just like, is Draymond really doing this from the out of the playoffs desk? Like, brother, what are you doing? It was ridiculous.
TNT wasn't the same without Shaq or Charles.
You know where they were last night?
No.
They were at a pitch meeting trying to save
TNT?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because TNT is not going to be getting any NBA rights right now.
Sounds like it's dead.
DEAD dead.
DD dead.
All right. Hey, Autotown GMC presents the 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms Thursday, July 11th. Morning and afternoon rounds. Get signed up now. I do know one group that is looking for a fourth. Okay.
Indeed.
We're gonna put it out there. P1 Rufio's got a group. They're looking for a fourth. So if you're a single, you want to do it. If you have a group of four that you want to go out and play with, sign up at 1080thefan.com. It's going to be an awesome event, food and beverages all across the course. We got the Michelob Ultra driving range. All the shows going to be out there, and then the shows are going to be rotating through the par 3 6th hole. Brought to you by Doers, where it's going to be a lot of fun had by all out on that par 3 6th hole. 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic brought to you by Autotown GMC. Sign up now at 1080thefan.com.
All right, coming up on our Worst Day on the Web, is there anything that you would get tattooed on you that's sports related? What if it was free? Maybe?
No.
All right, first is Big Will Bets of the Sports Zone Update.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Dusty, do you have any tattoos you regret?
Yep.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe you can go down this line. Currently in Minnesota, there is a tattoo shop that will go ahead and tattoo Naz Reid in plain text on you for free.
Just
name.
His name, Naz Reid.
Naz Reid. And over 150 fans have taken him up on it.
Now, does Naz Reid have a lot of tattoos?
He appears to be mostly sleeved on his right arm.
Okay.
But I don't see any on his left, and, can't see anywhere else.
Is there a reason why Naz Reid is the... Why not... Wait, just why Naz Reid? I think that's where my mind is at. Like, it's not Ant or Gobert or Cat. It's Naz Reid.
But he's a cult hero. It's the same reason why every Trailblazers player ever is referred to as a legend.
Yeah, that's right. I think, like, in Blazer terms, this would be like in the early 90s getting a Jerome tattoo. Like, Mercy, Mercy tattooed on you.
I think it's even lower than that.
You think he is?
Rudy Fernandez tattoo.
That's
it's
closer to that.
No.
Yeah.
He won an MIP, didn't he?
Yeah.
Reed?
No, 6th man of the year.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah. Look wrong. Naz Reid, good player. Like him.
Yeah,
very much
I know.
so. But it's very cult classic. So a tattoo artist during the first game of the series, Denver, Minnesota, when Naz Reid kind of went off, he went on Twitter and said, "We'll tattoo Naz Reid on anyone for $20."
Right, he had a great first round too, and he played out of his gourd in the first game of this series. So 150 people have taken him up on that, and it is the most basic text you could possibly imagine. It's just like Naz Reid.
It's some Times New Roman stuff.
Yeah.
Is it MLA formatted?
I think it might be more Arial because Times New Roman has like the footers on it. This is even more basic than that.
Could it be Helvetica?
Ooh, it could be.
It definitely could be. I'm not gonna go. It's definitely not Comic Sans.
Now if you're in Cleveland, you could do that. Yeah, actually,
Times New
I
Roman.
think it's italicized Times New Roman. Yeah, the first one that I saw, it didn't look like that. But yeah, this is. You're right. It is Times New Roman with a little italics on it. I would never get this. I don't know why anybody would get this. And the crazy part about it is that the people that are getting it are not fully tatted up. There's only like one guy that I see that has gotten this tattoo that has other tattoos visible.
The one on his hands?
Everybody else, yeah. Everybody else, it's like they got bare skin. There's an old lady. There's a grandma.
There's like an old 80-year-old white lady.
Yeah, there's a grandma who has Naz Reid now tattooed on her bicep. Which is
that's awesome,
fantastic. Like somebody's grandma has that. But when you live in Minnesota, it's not suns out, guns out.
No, not like that. I feel like the weird is okay.
Can you imagine getting Nas and then Reed on each bicep? Like I call this one Nas and I call this one Reed.
Well, Danny mentioned the thumbs.
Yeah,
the guy on like just above like the pad of his thumb. Like on that bone, Nas on one hand, Reed on the other. So like when he's praying, he's praying to Naz Reid.
That's awesome. Get Naz Reid on your lip.
On the inside of your lip?
Yeah. A Naz Reid neck tat.
Yeah,
actually,
you
there
could
is
go like
there
the
is
inside
somebody.
of your fingers there. You could go Nas on one hand, Reid on the other.
Oh God, or go Knuckles.
Yeah, Knuckles.
That's so sweet.
You
now
show
I
up at a
do
bar,
this.
you're like, I'm going Naz Reid on you.
I want to do this.
What was the old Crow Cop UFC fighter? Right leg hospital, left leg cemetery. So the right hand.
Wait, that's what he had tattooed on his legs?
No. That's what they used to say.
Oh,
because he was Victor Krokop was a Croatian kickboxer. He was a police chief or something along those lines. Legendary kickboxer, but his left leg was a killer.
It's like blood sport type
yeah,
stuff.
so that's kind of what he was. His right leg would break you, his left leg would kill you.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, just violent. Like if you maybe during the break, I'll pull up the old YouTubes and show you the violent knockouts.
What is up with people? I've seen this trend on social media where people are now like going to UFC fighters or kickboxers, and they'll go to a gym and they'll
trying
be like,
to start fights.
No, they'll just kick me. And having a UFC fighter kick them.
No,
it's like a trend that's happening now, and people they're like, "Are you serious? You want me to do
none
this?"
of them
like, "Yeah, dude,
none of them are doing it full out."
And then
John Jones did it to somebody.
Just get crippled.
He kicked him in the leg so hard, you could tell he was maybe 50%. But if you don't know how to check it, if you don't know how to brace for it, number one, your leg will break. Number two, you will do severe damage. And they showed the kid the next day. It looked like he got hit by a car. It was just like,
play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Buddy.
Right there.
It's like wanting to be punched by Francis Ngannou, who has the highest punch threshold on pounds per square inch on record.
And they're doing it now like somebody must have gotten hurt, because what a lot of them will do is they'll force them to put a pad on
over,
and they'll kick them with the pad on,
and then,
they're just like, no, I wouldn't never want that. Like,
and they're not even kicking full, even with the pad on, they're not kicking full power.
They kick for a living.
Yeah,
and you're like, you know what? I can take it. No, you can't.
That kick is literally they do a thing that is meant to break someone's leg. They teach you to kick through the leg.
Yeah.
I thought they taught you to sweep the leg.
Not these guys.
Yeah, let's go back to a simpler time where they just be like, "Can you choke me out?" Because that was like
they still do that.
John Jones, also another one who's choked out a lot of fans.
That was a trend too, where like that was back when Vine was a thing.
Yeah,
the people go on Vine and they'd show up to like an MMA gym and they'd be like, "I'm gonna go get choked out," and then be like, lights out, and then they'd wake up and boom, you'd get a bunch of reels. Is that what they called them?
No, well, I mean that was Vines and views. Reels is Instagram. I did see that someone, one of the influencer hots, just did that.
She got choked out.
Yeah, she had like a UFC fighter choke her out, which I thought was
usually doesn't go on TikTok. It usually goes on.
It was on
X.
Else. It was on Twitter. It was not a bright move by him, I think.
No way. A dude choking out a woman, and that's not going to go over well.
Well,
she
okay.
No, let him say it.
Hold on.
Say it.
Nope.
No, let him say it. Let him say it. Let him say she asked for it.
Watch yourself.
I know. I didn't say it. I did not say it. I didn't say it. She went in and said that she would like him to do this. I would assume that there was a waiver signed. I did not say that she asked for it.
Passed out.
It was an agreed upon decision beforehand.
My dad instincts, my paternal instincts.
That was a good say. That was a good say.
I saw you going down the road, and I just said, no, don't say that. Don't say that.
It was agreed upon beforehand.
It was mutual combat, is what you could. It was mutual combat there.
I would assume there was a waiver.
Yeah.
Did it get hot in here?
No.
I was gonna say she asked him.
So about those Nasri tattoos.
No.
Is there anything you would get a tattoo for?
No. Not anymore. I'm not.
That's true. All your Ducks win a national title with you on the sideline. You wouldn't get a little O tattooed?
You're not getting a Knicks tattoo?
No. I wouldn't.
Not a true fan.
No, I'm not a tattoo person.
Was that because of a prior experience?
Well, yeah, when you don't like the tattoo you have, you just like, no.
I have been debating on getting a sleeve on my left arm for probably about a decade. And I probably will at some point in time. But if the Blazers won a title, Joe Simons and I talked about this on Outsiders a couple of years ago. If they won a title when I was covering the team, would I get one? And I was like, it would depend on who I was working for. If I was here, maybe not. But if I was working for the team,
you would get a tattoo.
Maybe.
Huh.
Something a little classy, a little pinwheel on my lower back.
On your lower back, yeah. That sounds about right. Right on your hip.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, a little pinwheel on the thigh.
The top of your foot.
Yeah.
No, there's
Small on the
not.
back.
There's nothing. I would never get another tattoo for
Anything.
Nothing at all.
We're going to Vegas for summer league, and my wife and I were talking because she doesn't have any tattoos. She's been wanting. She watched all of what's the show with Dave Navarro?
Inked.
Yeah.
Inked. What? It's inked, right?
Is it Inked?
Or Tattoo Master?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
She's watched all of them, whatever the ones Dave's been
Yeah.
in. And she got very, very into it. She's like, I want to get a tattoo, and kind of waned. And then I brought it up the other day. Hey, you'll be down there just a couple weeks before your birthday. You want to get your tattoo in Vegas?
Whoa.
So she's currently shopping to see if we can get a spot while we're down there.
And get a tattoo. What's she gonna get? Like a wolf?
Close.
Is that Galifianakis?
Yeah.
A lion?
Tiger.
A tiger. A Brandon Sprague special.
She wants Sprague.
She wants the Sprague special. The tiger.
No Ninja Turtles.
No Ninja Turtles? What about the big rose?
I wouldn't be surprised if she went floral.
Oh, goes floral with
Floral tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Huh?
Little tiger with some like Japanese blossoms kind of
Sure.
deal.
They have
Yeah.
floral.
Nobody's ever done that
horses
before,
out
right?
there.
But the thing about like going to Vegas and doing it is you can get world class artists to do it.
Yeah.
Which, folks, I am not anti-tattoo. I am anti-bad tattoo. Spend money, do research.
Get
Do not
Nas Reed for free.
Do not
Oh,
not
20
go
bucks.
to Jason Tatum's tattoo artist.
Ooh. Yeah, it's bad.
Don't get God's swill.
God's will. God's will. God's will.
God's will, because they didn't do the spacing or the apostrophe right.
Misspelled tattoos are my favorite.
Real life, no regrets.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Those are my absolute favorite. When you see the person and they get it like either backwards, like they get, or it's a misspelled word, is just awesome.
That's why
Every time.
That's why you have tracing and you double and triple check. Me being the complete dumbass that I am, I let a guy freehand on my back when I was 19 years old in Afghanistan. So the fact that mine came out not only great, but without actual physical harm or without,
Hepatitis.
yeah. Or beyond that, like him like just drawing something phallic on my back and just going willy-nilly with it.
No regrets though.
No regrets though.
No regrets.
But yeah, don't be a dummy. Spend a lot of money and get it done professionally because they will look crappy. If you
Yeah, they
don't.
will. Yeah,
Flat
they
out.
will. The money is well spent.
It's also hard to screw up Nas Reed, although there's a couple of these where the guy with the one on the hands, the Z on the Nas,
Ooh, not good.
it's looks like it gets a little fat there in the middle. Doesn't look like
Maybe he flinched.
the guy with all the hand tattoos definitely would be kind of a wuss about it, I bet.
Dang. Aggressive?
I'm just saying. No, nothing at all.
No, I said it was aggressive.
All right, fine. We'll pivot back to the NFL. There's a whole lot of scheduling news outside of Netflix getting into football. You can take a look at all of the offseason content as well as the international schedule as well. Come here on Danny and Dusty, 10 to the Fan. will be subjected to.
Very dramatic music for this. Ric Flair entering. Woo! Okay, hit me with them. I haven't seen these yet.
London, England will get the Jets against the Vikings.
Ooh, that's actually a good game. That'll be a fun game.
The Jags, which their ownership, that they love going to England, against the Bears. The number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, will go to England.
The NFL is seeing actual returns on the investment of sending crap teams over to play crap games in London. And now they're sending over good games, good matchups for people because they're actually starting to see traction with the NFL fan base.
I'm glad you mentioned crap teams because the next week they are sending the Patriots and the Jaguars.
See, there we go. But they gave them 2 good ones.
The Jaguars, I think, are just going to stay over in England.
No, they do. They do. They stay there for a couple of weeks when they're going to play these.
Get comfy.
There's no reason to come back at all.
No. There's no reason to make. Well, I guess from Jacksonville, it's probably a 7-hour flight.
I have no idea.
New York, England's like 5, but
I have no idea what it takes to fly to Jacksonville. I never want to know how long it takes to fly to Jacksonville from here or anywhere.
You know what? Like if you named a place in the country, like a relatively big city of places that you wouldn't want to be surprisingly taken to, Jacksonville seems like it'd be pretty high on the list.
Yeah, it would be. It's like I don't
10-hour flight to London.
10? Yeah.
10 and a half.
Okay, yeah. So it is pretty far south.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All
so,
right.
there you go. Your other international games. Okay. Week 1, Packers and Eagles.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo, Brazil. We knew about that one.
No green.
No green, which good luck with that. And then the last international game of the season, November 10th in Munich, the Giants and Panthers. Speaking of sending absolute dog crap over there.
See, they are
one less game that we have to be subjected to.
They're trying to get their foot in the door there. And they know they can send the crap teams over because if people go to that, then they're going to go
They'll go to anything.
Yeah, yeah. Giants, Panthers, that is a turd burger and a half.
Yeah, then they're playing at Allianz Arena, which is where Bayern Munich plays. So that's the big old spot.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's nice. And then in England, they're playing at Tottenham Hotspur twice, and then Wembley. And Wembley's massive. I think
85,000. Is that right?
I think that's right. Wembley's absolutely
got nothing on the big house.
90,000.
90.
Yeah, it's a big old place. So
college football action. And is that the Pats Jags game that they're sending there? They need to send like the
Wembley
Jets.
is Pats Jags.
Oh, they ain't gonna sell that out.
Yeah. Well, maybe Pats fans will travel.
Yeah,
to watch that team.
Or maybe it is that if people in London were smart, they would show up in red coats for the Patriots game.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
I mean, that's how the Patriots got their name.
It would be pretty funny if they all showed up like dressed like Ben Franklin.
If the Patriots beat the Jags somehow, some way in that game, they need to go and throw tea into the river. Because Wembley's right on the river, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Wembley is right. Is Wembley on Thames?
It might make the river cleaner, honestly.
That would be my favorite thing of the NFL season if that happened. That's my one football wish this year.
No, it's a little bit further north of the Thames.
How far are they going to have to go to find a body of water to throw a bunch of tea into?
No, that is very close. There's a lake right next door.
Huh? Let's go. Let's go, Pat. Let's go, Pats.
But yeah,
fans need to show up in red coats.
It's a short
Patriots
trip
need to celebrate
to River
throwing
Thames.
tea.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, they
also,
need to
can
throw
I say
tea.
the Brits saying instead of Thames River, the River Thames?
The River Thames.
It works.
It is like the River Mississippi. Sounds way more, but I mean, then we have Mississippi River, which that works too because it's Mississippi.
Yeah,
you know,
it just rolls right.
The River Columbia.
Ooh.
The River Willamette.
Yeah, that one doesn't work.
The River Willamette doesn't work. The River Columbia maybe.
Yeah.
The River McKenzie, that works.
Ooh, that works.
Yeah, the River Rogue. That's also a good one.
Snake doesn't work.
No, the River Snake.
You don't want to encounter those.
Or you do. Either way, you usually have to pay extra.
Okay.
No, nothing? Okay. Those are your international games. But if you want to subject yourself to more stupidity, there's the new spin-off Hard Knocks with the Giants.
I don't know how much of a want there is for this or a thirst for it, but I think that Hard Knocks is having some trouble because teams don't really want to do it anymore because of the distraction that it poses. And I think they're going to do 3 teams during the Hard Knocks now because they've kind of worked everything over that they could do. Hard Knocks off season, I think hardcore football fans are going to want to do it, and it's New York Giants, and Joe Schoen is a really charismatic general manager for the Giants. They have one of the first families of football, well, 2 of them with the Maras and the Tisch families running the Giants organization. Brian Daboll is on the hot seat. They need to build a winner. I think that there could be a lot of drama that they could fold into an off-season Hard Knocks, and I think how the sausage is made, going through the draft process, drafting guys, filling out your roster, free agency. I think there's a lot that could be riveting TV for people, but I think that's more geared towards football junkies. But Hard Knocks does everything. Like, even when they have bad seasons of Hard Knocks, it's still good. Like, I didn't watch all of the Dolphins one, but that was just a time thing because I don't have enough time in the fall to watch the in-season Hard Knocks of the Miami Dolphins. I like the 3 episodes that I did watch. I don't know how it finished out, but actually, I do know how it finished out because I watched the Dolphins season. But in-season Hard Knocks, it's still pretty good. I like what they do. The training camp one, though, we've seen all of the storylines that we could possibly see. So I'm for off-season Hard Knocks. I'll give it a whirl. I'll probably do exactly what I did with the Dolphins and just stop watching after a while. But
okay, I'm good.
Time gets in the way. Yeah. Life. I got life to live
finds
here.
a way.
Yeah, but Giants fans, go ahead. Watch how your team won't win the NFC East this year.
There you go. Perfect. All right, coming up next, we'll pivot back to the NBA.
Ooh, yay.
The Knicks, boy, did they get it done in a decisive Game 5. We'll take a look at that game and a couple of games coming up here tonight on hour number 3 here in Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
There's like a video of a crow.
Yes.
Like finds a ball and he's poking around on a green and the guy's like videotape him going, yes.
Yes.
And then boom, sinks it. How do you rule that? How do you rule that?
It's in.
It's in. It's got to be in. It's got to be in.
That's a Mickey Mouse hole-in-one, though, if that's how you get it. Like,
Well,
can you
it's not
imagine hitting a ball and it goes in that way? Don't count.
I think it counts even more.
I
How rare is that? Screw a birdie or an eagle. I just got a crow.
If you got a hole-in-one because a crow took your ball
You're
or a
literally just gonna
squirrel
gloss
and
over
dropped
that.
it in,
Wow.
It's more rare.
are we sure it's more rare? Do we have the stats to back this up?
Dude, it's way more rare.
You don't know that?
I do.
Oh, yeah? How many hole-in-ones have been had normally? How many hole-in-ones have been had by squirrel?
Well, a lot of hole-in-ones I know normally.
I don't
By
know a
squirrel,
single.
I don't know of a single one.
Yeah, single.
Could they be
squirrel or
omitting that
crow.
part?
Math.
Absolutely not.
No,
don't know
if,
that your
if
sample
a
size is big
squirrel
enough.
gave you or a bird gave you a hole-in-one, everybody in the world would be talking about it.
I don't think that counts.
It absolutely does.
It's Mickey Mouse.
And whatever
It's
and
a
whatever
bubble
whatever
championship.
animal pushes it in,
Doesn't
that's
matter.
what that's what the hole in one is called.
Tell
The
that to
squirrel
the
pushes
Lakers
it in, you
ring.
got a squirrel.
Yeah.
Crow pushes in, you got a crow.
You get a crow. Yeah.
A turtle?
Put me
In
down
your
for a crow.
face. Yeah, put me down.
No.
One crow.
I refuse. You guys are wrong.
No. No.
And if you want to go full Stubbs and kill the crocodile that ate your ball, well,
No. Happy.
Ooh, you knew it.
Happy
Yeah.
killed it.
New Happy
Stubbs
Gilmore.
got the eye.
Yeah.
But I got his eye.
New Happy Gilmore coming out.
On Netflix.
Hmm.
Maybe they're gonna release it after the doubleheader on Christmas Day.
They're bringing back Sandler.
God dang it. I mean, it'll be funny, but it'll be funny for 1995.
It's so an Adam Sandler
Yeah.
movie. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what
it's
all
never changed.
It's timeless.
No, and that's
It's a timeless formula.
I can't wait for people to get bent out of shape about it.
There
Oh, then you know, I'll take bets. I will take bets right now. There will be some stupid think piece in the New Yorker about how out of touch or how the society has progressed beyond this.
Okay, this is have you watched Unfrosted on Netflix?
No.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about, though.
It's the Jerry Seinfeld about Kellogg's and Post.
My wife
The
was
race-
watching this the other day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
The race to build the to make the Pop-Tart. I was so underwhelmed by that movie.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how they got everybody to do this movie, but listen to this. This is why I watched it, because of the cast. Jerry Seinfeld, Christian Slater, Jim Gaffigan, Hugh Grant,
Good God.
Kyle Mooney, Mikey Day, Drew Tarver, Amy Schumer. Oh, wait.
Oh, that's
gotta
right.
get
My
one.
wife said you won't want to watch this because Amy Schumer's in it.
Oh, you don't like Amy Schumer?
No.
Huh? Not a big Amy Schumer fan.
Not at all.
Okay. All right. Well, not your movie then. Gonna save you this one.
There you go.
But it's got Max Greenfield in it.
A crap ton of people.
Cedric the Entertainer. Kyle Dunnigan. It's Sebastian Maniscalco is in it.
Is this just Kellogg's propaganda?
Melissa McCarthy's in it. The dude Jack McBayer from oh my God. He was the page in the 30 Rock.
Oh, okay.
In 30 Rock. Bobby Moynihan is in it. Like, they just have like this.
A bajillion people.
Every time there's a new scene, you see somebody else where you're like, hey, I know that person. I know that
But I
person.
mean, is this
Peter
like Kellogg
Dinklage.
propaganda?
Peter Dinklage is in it. Bill Burr's in it. George Wallace. Like, everybody. No, it's not.
Well, I was saying, like, the reason they get all those people is because some corporation out there has more money than God, and some overlord deemed it so that all of these people will be in it.
John Hamm and John Slattery play their characters from the show Mad Men, pitching the advertising for it. Like it's all over. But it sucks. It was like a, there were a couple times I laughed, and I laughed out loud. The story was just out of left field. It didn't really make any sense. And when I got done watching it, I had this thought. Did they make that movie thinking that people are going to watch this no matter what, and we can put whatever we want on the screen? Because there was a part of me that when you get that many people on a one script and so many actors are in it, notable and well-regarded actors and actresses.
It has the worst debut of any Netflix movie of any in any time.
Yeah. I can see that.
It worked because Jerry Seinfeld is royalty.
Yes.
And they said anything he does will be viewed as such. So I'll sign up for this because it's Jerry bleeping Seinfeld being the director.
Though? Like I understand Seinfeld is one of the best sitcoms of all time, if not the best. But haven't we kind of come around to it was more so Larry David?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I watched Seinfeld's old stand-ups.
no,
it's fine. It's not great.
It was Jerry Seinfeld.
No, Seinfeld's
though.
one of the best writers.
Seinfeld it was Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld together. But you see the imprint that Larry David had on it when you watched Curbed. But Jerry Seinfeld, he is fantastic. He's a very good comedian, a phenomenal writer. This movie is not. Unfrosted, I was not a fan of it. Like my wife fell asleep. She was out.
That if you look at the reviews, I fell asleep in the middle of the day watching this movie, which I don't think I've ever done before, even for the worst movie.
Damn.
So, there's a bajillion people in it. You know what? That kind of holds the old adage of like, if you throw a bajillion people in a movie, the movie ultimately sucks. It's just, when you get that, the only one that ever really worked was
Valentine's Day,
the mobster movie with Nicholson,
Sopranos,
and, DiCaprio,
Boondock Saints.
No, stop. Departed.
Yes, that movie had more
Ortner just had me. I knew
your
it was
brain
Departed, and I was like, "Stop saying movies."
Couldn't think of Boondock Saints fast enough.
Yeah, no, that movie had more stars at their peak powers of any movie I've ever seen.
And it's part of a Seinfeld. I know where like the origin of the movie came from. It's like from Seinfeld's one of his most popular bits in the '90s was about how they came up with the Pop-Tart itself. And so it's like a spoof off of that, but it was not great.
It's got terrible scores.
Yeah,
it's got
right.
a 40% Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.5 on IMDb.
Yeah. And this is, you said, is this big Kellogg's propaganda? This comes from the IMDb page on the movie. Seinfeld asserted in an interview with Jimmy Fallon he did not seek permission from Kellogg for using their product names and their characters, and would enjoy being sued by them. I mean, it's free advertising for Kellogg and for Post and for Quaker Oats too. That's a little sidebar in there, which is actually kind of part of the funny part of it. But it was like they gave all the free advertising in the world, but it has like literally every single Kellogg's character. The Rice Krispie guys,
Tony the
Tiger, the Fruit Loops,
Toucan
Sam is the guy, the cop from the big tall black guy from Reno 911.
Oh, okay.
What was his name?
Yeah. God dang it.
Officer Dangle.
No, Dangle is also in the movie.
I don't know the rest of the
Dangle's
other names.
in the movie
Of
too.
course.
I don't know any of the actors' names from the show Reno 911. I love that show. Except for
show.
Nick Swartzen, who was the guy on roller skates and
he got taken off stage a couple weeks ago because he was drunk on stage
and fighting with patrons.
Yeah.
But
things are going well.
I don't know a single actor from Reno 911, and I love that show. I know none of their names.
Yeah,
None of
I'm
them.
there with you. Somebody else texted into the text line that Ocean's 11 has a large cast of stars. I will counter with there are 3 stars. Well, 4 if you want to give Andy Garcia. But you've got Pitt, Clooney, Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
The rest are good actors, but not stars.
Isn't Matt Damon in those?
Oh, you're right. Damon is in that. So there you go. There's your 4th.
I would say like ensemble movies, they usually don't do well.
No.
They usually don't, which is kind of weird. Like they do it. They remember when there was that run of like they did Valentine's Day, and then they did like they were doing like movies about holidays or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were
Flag Day was big. Yeah.
big ensemble casts that they would roll out there. Those movies are hunks of crap.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like money laundering.
It is. They're
Hey,
getting money from somewhere.
If we don't do this, we're going to have to pay taxes on this, which is a real thing. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, find all of the movies that the production groups have fully filmed and then canned and not released to write off for taxes.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So here's a list of the movies with like Don't Look Up is another example of this. A movie that I did not think Don't Look Up was very good. It was another Netflix one where
I like the song.
The world was ending, all that stuff. But you have movies like Unfrosted pops up on this.
Well, see, now the text line's pushing back against my not a star line on Ocean's 11 saying Don Cheadle is a star.
Don Cheadle was a big star then.
I don't think he was a star then.
Yeah, he was. He was. Don Cheadle was like the it actor for that time, and then he disappeared for a while.
Don Cheadle was an it actor?
Yeah, oh yeah.
In 2001?
I will say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that is a good movie with an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie was actually pretty good.
Infinity War, Endgame.
I guess the Marvel movies you could put up there.
Downey Jr. was on his way back up.
Yeah.
When he did that, he was still coming out of.
Well, I think he was doing that with Iron Man, but when they put the ensemble cast together and did the
But
Avengers,
that was always the plan.
The Avengers movies were.
And Hemsworth wasn't a star. Ruffalo was.
Ooh, Tropic Thunder's a fantastic.
That's a great one.
That's a great comedy one.
Oppenheimer, but that was Robert Downey Jr. was totally in recovery of his image during Tropic Thunder. Oppenheimer was a good ensemble cast too. Heat is a great one.
Heat was probably the
original
one.
There we go. I mean, there are some good ones,
but
most
I'm
of
gonna
them
push back. Cheadle was not a superstar in 2001.
The Town, then, if you're going with Heat, then The Town would fall into that as well.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, Blake Lively, Renner.
Yeah, but Blake was
John
not.
Hamm.
John Hamm wasn't a star yet.
That's after Mad Men.
It was after Mad
Was
Men.
it?
He's got that
Yeah.
going for him.
That's after Hurt Locker for Renner.
Yeah.
They're stars, dude.
I'm looking here.
Who's Cowie taking?
Ka.
Have you finally seen that movie?
No. Still haven't seen it.
Okay, so it was 3 years into Mad Men, which means it was filmed a year before. So it's 2 years into Mad Men that Hamm was there. So okay, we'll give you. I'll go with that one.
Renner's a little bit of a stretch too, because it's filmed before Hurt Locker comes out.
Yeah,
but Hurt Locker came out before the movie got released.
Okay.
You've also got Ben Affleck. Blake Lively's coming off of Gossip Girl, so maybe not your demo, but for a certain demo, she's a star.
Sure, that's fine. I'm still going to push back on Cheadle.
Cheadle was in Swordfish, Academy Award winning film Swordfish, before he was in Ocean's 11. He was also in the movie Traffic.
The only person I remember in Swordfish is Halle Berry.
Failsafe, Mission to Mars, The Rat Pack, where he played Sammy Davis Jr., Bulworth, and Boogie Nights. Of course, the great Buck Swope in Boogie Nights. His character was phenomenal.
Yeah,
in Boogie
but see,
Nights.
none of that reads as stardom.
Yeah, well,
no, wrong. I love Cheadle. I
love
think
Don
he's
Cheadle,
great,
too.
but I don't look at him as a star there.
Vancouver Ford text line, Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, and it's actually really interesting if you go back and you look at a couple weeks ago, Tarantino's original actor hopefuls for who he wrote the roles for came out.
Yeah.
And had it gone another way, boy, it was not good.
Yeah, Boogie Nights actually may be one of those movies that this is brought up in there. Boogie Nights had Burt Reynolds, but again, this is before they became famous. Burt Reynolds and Mark Wahlberg were the two notable names.
Yes.
But it had John C. Reilly, Philip Seymour Hoffman, William H. Macy, Heather Graham, and Don Cheadle.
I would argue Heather Graham did very well off that movie.
Yes, she did. But that was their jumping off point was Boogie Nights, where that's where their recognition came.
Roller skates never look so good.
No, they didn't. Hot
Cool.
night.
Exactly. All right, coming up, we'll actually talk about some basketball. Coming up here on Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
Maybe.
Hello, sports fans.
5th Annual Fan Golf Classic at the Langdon Farms Golf Club. It happens July 11th. That's a Thursday. And we've got morning and afternoon rounds. Did we find a fourth for Rufio?
I think we may have found.
A
We're
fourth.
working on.
All
We're
right.
working on that fourth.
Okay.
We're working on that fourth.
Look, we're not in the.
I think we have a bite.
We're not in the business of soliciting everyone's foursome, but if you need one, let us know. Maybe we can put a little something out there and help you guys out. But if you do have your foursome or you're looking to sign them up now. 1080thefan.com is where you need to go. Remember, they will fill up quick. They are filling up quick. Get there now. Here's what you get to enjoy. The fan golf experience you come to know and love with all the food and beverages, as well as the Michelob Ultra driving range where you can hit all the balls you want at swag. That alone is worth the price of admission.
Sure is, Bob.
I'm waiting for that plastic little shell to break.
It won't. It won't.
I mean, I could tamper with it.
They put them out there. It's not, but you're not going to hit through the plexiglass and get your ball to swag.
What if I make it out of candy?
What?
The candy glass, like in the movies.
I thought you meant the ball.
No. The glass, the protective shield. We'll go full Hollywood.
You're going to make it just very breakable. I think that's called assault, brother. You're setting him up to fail and kill him.
Who will know?
I think everybody that's listening right now.
Ah, well. Speaking of listening, you can listen to Dirt and Sprague, Dusty and I, or Isaac and Suk. All of us will be live on location down at Langdon Farms. Then after that, we will rotate over to the par 3 6th hole where we will going shot for shot. Giving you shots. Taking shots. Shots will be had courtesy of Doers.
Yes, let's go.
So again, get to 1080thefan.com to sign up your foursome today.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Real quick. The Pacers got the ever-living crap kicked out of them last night, and I did not see that coming. Brother.
Brunson did the damn thing again. Jalen Brunson is a man on fire. And look, they needed every bit of that. We talked about this as that series shifted to Indiana. Do you mail in game 3, try to get game 4 and head back to New York with a chance to close it out? They got their asses handed to them in Indiana. They come back to MSG, and Jalen Brunson got his mojo back. And that dude was all over the place.
5 shots.
But that finish that he had, who else is going to shoot on that team right now?
You're not wrong. Next on the team was Hart at 16. And Josh had a rough shooting night.
But that's too many shots for Josh Hart. I can't believe they won that basketball game. But Hart, that finish where he went up and under when the and won, like it was one of those games where it's like he is not going to let his team lose.
No, and that's what it was. He drug him across the finish line. Jalen Brunson now has 5 50-point games in the playoffs, the most since 2018 when LeBron James has a record 8.
Unbelievable.
8 40-point games. Remember, you need to win 16 games to win an NBA Finals.
Oh, man.
LeBron had 8 40-point games in those playoffs.
Here's the thing that I am appreciating more and more about the New York Knicks and how they're approaching this is Tibbs is running his guys into the ground. And we all know that's who he is.
And he doesn't have a choice now.
No. And he'd be doing it anyways, though. So it's kind of like a reprieve that you're getting from, the storyline of Tibbs just going to run his guys into the ground. Everybody is finding their role and just diving into it. And last night you sit there and you're like, how in the hell do you win that game? Brunson gets 44 points on 35 shots. Hart takes 16 shots. He moves McBride into the starting lineup, and they got smaller. And yet they have a bunch of pit bulls.
But it mattered for this one specific thing. In doing so, they went more guard and guard pick and rolls, which made Halliburton defend. They put Halliburton defensively in more pick and rolls than any single game he's been in the playoffs, and they took him out of pick and rolls. He had less pick and roll opportunities in any game in the playoffs.
But then you had Isaiah Hartenstein
be really good.
12 offensive rebounds. Dude only took 3 shots, and this is what I like: defined roles, buying into it. And then just attacking it relentlessly. He had over twice as many offensive rebounds as the Pacers did as a team. Think about that. He had 12 offensive boards. The Pacers as a team had 5 offensive rebounds. He was a man possessed last night, and he had 17 boards total on the game, which is also a crazy stat.
Good number.
12 offensive, 5 defensive rebounds.
That's because Josh Hart was getting every defensive rebound.
And that's the thing, is that like you have 6'4" Josh Hart, who is a presence,
one of the best rebounding
game.
guards ever.
And we talked about this before, but he has that Bill Walton mind, Dennis Rodman mind, where ball goes into the air, he slides to a position because he's got like the Rain Man or the Hangover
computer brain,
where it's like all the math is just mathing in his brain. He's like, whoop, gonna slide right over here, and he grabs boards left and right. He's incredible.
It's a natural ability, natural skill. But Pacers let one go that they probably shouldn't have, and they may live to regret it, or they bounce back at home.
Yep.
They tie this thing up and push it to 7.
I'm here for this series. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. It's an absolute blast.
I mean, in what they're doing is blowing each other out.
Yeah.
But it usually when you get those series, you're like, God, this basketball sucks.
But it's putting the leverage on each team as they get into the next game, which would lead to an explosive game 7.
When we talk about it's series in the NBA, 7-game series, and we say, the first couple you're feeling each other out, and then it becomes the punch, the counter punch, and then how many counters do you have? We've now seen 3 straight games where the teams have countered tremendously, and you're like, all right, you got 2 more. The Knicks need to win 1. The Pacers need 2. I wouldn't put it past Indiana winning the next 2.
No.
Not one bit.
No, I don't think Indiana's out of this series at all, but their backs are going to be up against it. They're going to be tested.
Because here's the thing that they got back yesterday that they're going to need in spades if they're going to want to win this series. Pascal Siakam finally shot over 50%. Or I guess nearly 50%. He was 7 to 15. He's been dreadful this playoffs. 7 to 15 is a good game for Pascal Siakam. Yeah. And he finally got a couple threes to fall. He wasn't a train wreck at the free throw line. They are going to need him if
they need him to step up for sure. You're going to need some more folks to step up in Cleveland as Donovan Mitchell is not going to play tonight in what could be a closeout game for the Boston Celtics.
Will be a closeout
game. Yeah, well. As well, a pivotal Game 5, as they say, between the Mavs and Thunder. Who is it more important for? We'll get to that and more. But first, here's a Big Well Bets of the Sports Center update.
This is
This one's probably done, probably over, and the Celtics are a team that definitely need the rest if they want to get Kristaps Porzingis back.
I would say this one's donezo.
Probably.
If without Donovan Mitchell, it's an uphill climb. Without Jared Allen, what we just saw in Game 4 is what's going to happen.
It's tough. I mean, they were
and now
competitive.
you head back to Boston.
Yeah, they were competitive.
But it was the juice to get over the top. And Darius But here's what you made a great point the other day when we were talking about this.
It happens
this
every
game.
now and then.
It was just yesterday we were talking about this, wasn't it? Darius Garland's game fits so much better without Donovan Mitchell.
Yes.
But with Jared Allen, it works even better. And that's what I'm talking about. Like without Jared Allen, like you don't have that big presence.
Mm-hmm.
And
because Mobley's still trying to figure that part of the game out.
Yeah.
And whether he can or not.
On both ends of the floor too. And
defensively he's been great.
I know, but offensively,
yes.
I'm talking with Jared Allen, not Evan Mobley. Not Evan Mobley. Mobley, remember, we went over this the other day as well. One Mobley got all the offense, the other one got all the defense.
Yes.
And they just played a one-on-one their entire lives. And
that's how it bounced out.
All-time offense, all-time defense. But Jared Allen alleviates a lot of the pressure for Mobley defensively. Yes. But on the other end of the floor, offensively, he opens up Darius Garland
because of his rim pressure and vertical gravity. Yeah, it's an interesting relationship, and what ends up coming out of this is, I think we can use this kind of springboard into the OKC Dallas series, not as a way of talking about the series, but kind of prepping what this summer is going to look like in general, because the Cavs aren't exactly falling short, but there's opportunities for the Cavs to make some very big moves. There's been discussion about them moving on from Jared Allen, and there's been discussion behind the scenes about Donovan Mitchell. While not really wanting out, he would like to go to New York, Miami, LA, but none of those teams, A, have anything to offer, Miami and LA, or B, New York doesn't necessarily want to anymore because they have Brunson, and pairing Brunson and Mitchell doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
What about Brooklyn?
That's off the table now because they suck.
Terrible. But Brooklyn, what? Remember, he wanted to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah, when they had
the
guys
they had two other pieces.
Yeah, that were better. So, or at least one. And that was the thing. It was like, oh, I could see myself going there too because he's from New York. That's the whole thing. It's like, oh, if it's not the Knicks, the Nets are fine because that's home too. But that also kind of complicates things for how this summer is being viewed because so many teams are lining up we had Kevin Pelton on yesterday from ESPN, and in one of the things we asked him was about lining things up for the CBA windows. And that's going to be a very important thing because of the implications of first apron, second apron, and all of the additional things that come with that. And because of that, you're going to see teams making decisions. And that leads to the OKC Thunder series. Because you're looking at a series right now, it's 2-2. One is very clearly on the ascent with a runway that keeps going, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Second youngest team in the entire NBA. They have defied all odds. If you want to say, see, why can't young teams be good? That is an exception, not a rule. That is what is happening here. The Mavericks, on the other hand, don't have many more paths they can explore. And I wouldn't call it sputtering out because of Luka's injury, but there's an opportunity here where if, let's say the Thunder win the next two games, and this goes 4-2, and it's not a 7-game competitive series, there are going to be some real questions, not necessarily from the Maverick side of things, but maybe Luka Doncic's side of things. And sitting there right now are the Utah Jazz with all of the assets of the world, and they have flat out said, we are going to go big game hunting. Now, I've heard that they've had interest in Brandon Ingram, but I've also heard for 2 years since Danny Ainge got there, they are loading up for when Luka Doncic inevitably asks out.
It should be noted here, all of our Blazer conversations that we've had over the last couple of days, Danny Ainge in that front office ripped that thing to the studs.
And I'll tell you right now, behind the scenes,
the studs.
That organization is not as well off as you think it is. I promise you, things are not going swimmingly there. Don't be surprised when you see most of the veterans on that team shipped out. Not because they want to keep things down, but because guys are frustrated.
And they had the young hot coach in Will Hardy,
who I still think is a great young coach and will be very successful.
They have the second most respected front office member in the entire NBA, only behind Pat Riley, is Danny Ainge. They have
a brand new owner,
billionaire owner,
with all the money,
pumping all the money in,
who cares about sports,
who cares about sports.
Literally just went and bought a hockey team.
They have ripped it to the studs, and the vets are unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That is part of the process of going through it. That doesn't mean that Blazer fans, you shouldn't be frustrated. You don't have a voice, and that you can't have a voice.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Look, I say, like, I get frustrated by the complaining. You should not be okay with the tanking.
No,
that's the thing. Is like you understand it, know it, but you should not enjoy the tanking process. It's not meant to be fun.
And they're going to be an interesting team to watch, right? Because the way that Ainge had, what's crazy is the package that Minnesota was willing to send Utah's way. That was bonkers that he pulled that off.
Well, we'll never see a deal like that again.
And I think though I think that's one of the frustrations with Portland's fan base is that they want the King's ransom for Dame or CJ or whatever.
Sure, had they traded them in prime on multiple, all-star caliber seasons, they could have.
There's a big difference between trading a defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert
or a Donovan Mitchell,
and one of those guys asking and demanding, "I want out."
Well, Donovan did.
That's why. That's why I mentioned just Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
He did not ask for it.
Once they moved one, they decided to go.
You're on the table.
All the way down.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And they sent him on the way. There's a big difference in the returns that you're going to get in those situations. That is the fact of the matter. And they sent Donovan Mitchell to Cleveland, which was a far larger question mark than sending Dame to Milwaukee, which was you are in a win-now championship. We're going to do right by you. You did right by us.
And Cleveland was not a place that Donovan wanted to go.
Yeah. It's not. And they sent him there anyway because Danny Ainge gives zero Fs about any of that.
And the Cavs players did a very good job of welcoming Donovan in.
And look, if there are Blazer fans out there that are upset that the organization did right by Dame, go ahead. You have that right. Be upset. But they've turned it into a good deal so far. And the returns are still going to be coming in years down the road. And hell, Malcolm Brogdon gets moved. That's a Damian Lillard trade still in process, right? And still working. But if you're going to be upset by that and say, do what's right by the team, go ahead. Sure, you can be upset by that. But there also is an organization saying, hey, we treat our players well when they're here.
Yeah.
And that's what Joe Cronin tried to do with Dame. He didn't send him to Miami.
Tried to do it with CJ too.
Yeah,
Look, there were other teams that were calling about CJ at that point in time where the offers were about commensurate, but he was given a couple of different teams. Like, hey, where of these teams, where would you want to go?
Yeah. And I see that side of the fan base, and there is a portion of this fan base that's like, you should have just gotten whatever was the best package out there, regardless.
Whatever you want.
Cutthroat, do it. And I understand that.
Sure.
That is A-okay, and I get that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I was okay with what the Blazers did with Dame.
Yeah.
And I think that Joe Cronin's now, his job is actually even harder, and he knew he was making his job harder because he has to continue to turn those pieces into something that makes this team into a winner.
It's turning a paperclip into a house.
But it wasn't going to happen overnight anyway.
No, it was always going to be a multi-year thing. And that's, you can kind of, if you take a step back, you can see it with these other teams, the stages that they're in. Everybody always wants to take a look at, well, look at OKC and all the assets. It does not, even with a superstar like Shea, and even with another budding star in J-Dub or J-Will, and in a budding star in Chet, it does not guarantee that team will win a title.
No, it does not.
And even with all of their assets, they may not do it. Why? Do you remember this franchise 10 years ago? It had 3 MVP winners on it. And they fell short to the Heat, and everybody's like, oh, they'll run it back. They'll figure it out. That was the beginning of the end where they chose Ibaka over Harden, and it went down that path.
I don't mind that.
But again, remember, that Thunder team was going to win titles.
Yeah, they were. They were. And they chose Serge Ibaka, and still, guess who hasn't won a title still?
Not Serge Ibaka.
James Harden.
No, nor Russ.
Nor Russ.
KD went and got his.
Serge got his.
Hills, yeah. And now KD is on his 9th head coach.
Yeah. Woo. Interesting spot. Interesting spot. All right, we'll wrap up today's show with a little bit of news around the Chauncey Billups Phoenix Suns saga, courtesy of Mark Stein. Coming here next on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Press conference action.
I like it.
What's interesting is
Boods.
Mark Stein of the Stein Line put out one of his articles on a Substack. I want to take this line real quickly when it pertains to this saga and Chauncey Billups and the Portland Trailblazers. Once it became clear the Suns would not have a shot at LA Clippers' Tyronn Lue or Portland's Chauncey Billups, Suns owner Matt Ishbia made sure that he wouldn't lose the only proven championship coach available for hire in this coaching cycle by swiftly offering a 5-year contract in the $50 million range to Budenholzer.
Hey, so, Chauncey wants to stay in Portland.
So, but what does it mean?
Right.
It says once it became clear the Suns would not have a shot at LA Clippers' Tyronn Lue or Portland's Chauncey Billups. Well, with the Clippers, I've heard that it's been a negotiation, new deal there. Billups is in the final year of a contract with a team option. So does that mean that the Blazers denied the opportunity for him to interview, or that it couldn't happen?
That he didn't want to interview. Look, I don't know. This is a weird about 2 weeks that we've had with Chauncey Billups in Portland. When you go back to prior to the lottery and hearing that there was unrest, he may be stepping down were some of the reports that were out there. We don't know what's going on with Chauncey. And that was before Vogel was even fired too. I mean, it was the report came out, Chauncey and the Blazers were not on good terms.
Mm-hmm.
Vogel gets fired. Then now we have the hiring of Mike Budenholzer, and the fear was, okay, does this mean that Chauncey is eyeing that Phoenix job? Well, then the Stein report comes out that he wasn't available. And does that mean by his own volition or by the organization's? Who knows at this point? But it seems as if we're going to need to hear something soon on Chauncey Billups and his standing with the organization.
And the thing is, the reason I think you heard Budenholzer's name so quickly is because they did kind of figure it out. And there's a line in there by Stein, 5-year, $50 million deal. It's $10 million a year.
It's good money.
Yeah. So I would imagine that there was a ponying up of funds that expedited that process because Vogel didn't have his staff put together immediately. Remember, it was like a couple days before it was like, oh yeah, there's Budenholzer. He's hired. He's got his staff now.
Well, I'm wondering how much of those conversations, right, before Vogel got fired, maybe it was the idea that they'd reached out to Chauncey's agent or Chauncey himself, if you want to go down the tampering road, and then also Ty Lue's agents and his representative, or Ty Lue, if you want to go down the tampering roads again. And then they were testing the waters there, and then maybe it was that, hey, Chauncey did show interest in the organization and said, no, thank you, sir. And that's when they went down the road. And that's when the initial report comes out that, hey, Chauncey may step down from the Blazers organization. Who knows? Because there was that reaching out by Phoenix to his agent. I don't know if that was the case, but that would make sense. The timeline of events and how it all happened is they